Eater criticism, 14 minutes program. I'm going to read a quick review about everything. Cgtn, Al Jazeera, Russia Today, everything. This way is better, I guess. Isn't it, Mimi? Isn't it, Mimi? Mimi. Tommy, ven aquí. Tommy. Oh. Here we go. Just 1 second. Hey, come. And here we are with Tommy. Oh, carajo. Salita. And here we are going to read some Cgtn news, starting with Cgtn news. Cgtn, see the difference. Here we are viewing with an awesome view of the Pacific Ocean, Chilean coast of Valparaíso, in Playa Ancha, watching. That way is Laguna Verde, Green Lagoon. And we are going to read Cgtn now. Xi Trump talks in media, pragmatism despite differences. A huge text, 4 minutes. I'm going to run. Major international media outlets have extensively covered the talks between Chinese President Xi Jinping and US President Donald Trump, which concluded this week in Beijing. Citing analysts, Al Jazeera reported that early signs point to the US and China moving towards a relationship focused on pragmatic areas of common interest. William Yang, senior Northeast Asia analyst at the International Crisis Group, was quoted by Al Jazeera as saying that Trump will likely try to compartmentalize US-China relations into areas where the two sides can cooperate without being overshadowed by geopolitical concerns. Noting China and the US might still differ on issues including the Iran situation, Xu Shengfeng, founding partner of Wutong Research based in Beijing, told the same outlet that the most important thing for Beijing is, quote, to find a floor for relationship to set up and enhance guardrails so that no surprises or uncontrolled escalations suddenly emerge. For that, item by item, disagreements are largely secondary, end quote. Reuters also noted China's new vision for bilateral ties. Joe Masur, geopolitics analyst at Beijing-based consultancy Trivium China, was quoted by Reuters as saying that, quote, it's new language and I think it reflects China's desire to put more institutional guardrails around US-China relations, both competition and cooperation, end quote. Separately, Australia's national broadcaster, the ABC, noted the shift of China-US relations. Instead of a so-called quote unquote, to see this trap, and which assume that rising powers and established powers were structurally destined for confrontation. The ABC reported that both Trump and Xi quietly admitted something the rest of the world has been slow to grasp. Neither of them can afford the collision. No, I know. I think that could be World War III. Instead of any breakthrough trade deal or joint statement, the ABC reported that what the Xi-Trump meeting delivered may turn out to be more consequential than any of those things. The ABC described the outcome as a public outline of a new global order in which China and the US are, quote unquote, not enemies, not rivals, and not partners in the warm Western sense, adding that they represent something newer and harder to define, two structurally interdependent superpowers who have decided for now to manage their rivalry rather than let it manage them. Singapore-based The Straits Times reported that trade and stability in the relationship between China and the US emerged as key issues discussed by both leaders, noting some China watchers had expected more concrete trade deliverables. The Straits Times cited Han Shenglin, China managing director for Asia Group Consultancy, saying that even if those do not materialize, the leaders' talks already amplify the perception of China as a confident peer power rather than a country under pressure. Citing Myron Brilliant, senior counselor of DGA Group, an international consulting firm, U.S. public broadcaster PBS News emphasized the importance of leaders meeting in China-U.S. relations, while cautioning that a high-level visit alone may not resolve decades-old distrust. And you know what I just thought about? China is even safer than the U.S. You know, there's a lot of terrorism in the U.S. So China is safer for Trump. And you know what I actually was thinking, the first thing I think when I see Trump, that he is a pedophile. That's the truth. But despite Trump being a pedophile, he is still an important person. So Xi Jinping has to. So China president meets with him. Understand? Well, who knows if being a pedophile for a U.S. president is relevant. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. You know, maybe it's not important to be or not to be anything. So people say Xi Jinping is wonderful, a fantastic person, a very cool human guy and responsible and stuff. He is perfect, but who knows if China will win? Even Xi Jinping is so perfect. You know, understand my point? Is not the country's problem or interest if the president is pedophile or a murderer or anything. Noting some China watchers had expect more concrete trade deliverables, the Straits Times cited Han Xingli, China managing director for Asia Group Consultancy, as saying that even if those do not materialize, the leaders' talks already amplify. Yeah. So this text is I'm going to just read the headlines of the second U.S. business leaders look deepen look to deepen cooperation with China. Israel, Lebanon to extend ceasefire for 45 days. Technology. Why is China putting all data centers under the sea? Because of hate, I guess. And the last one about tigers, animal. How China and Russia are building a shared ecological future. There's a lot of tigers over in the photograph. Beautiful photo. And that's it by now, I guess. I'm going to choose some of them. Another. Let's read the why China is building AI data centers under the sea in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. China is taking an unconventional approach to building greener AI infrastructure, putting data centers under the sea off the coast of Shanghai's Linjiang Special Area. A newly operational offshore platform now hosts the world's first commercial underwater data center powered directly by offshore wind energy. The project, with a total planned investment of 1.6 billion yuan, about $235 million, is designed to tackle one of the tech industry's fastest growing challenges, the soaring electricity demand driven by artificial intelligence AI. And we have a photograph the interior of the underwater data center. It's beautiful, it's underwater, yeah. Global data center power consumption is expected to more than double by 2030. With AI becoming the main driver of that growth, according to the International Energy Agency. And I don't know how much time I have. Still recording, yeah. I have more 2 minutes. Let's jump to the end. The data center is linked directly to a nearby 200 megawatts offshore wind farm, with more than 50 turbines. So they have offshore cable. Because of the wind power, over 95% of the facility's electricity comes from renewable energy. I'm going just to show you the land China can over here. There should be a lot of wind power, because definitely we have right here in Playa Ancha we have a lot of wind. The fully scale facility could save 61 million kilowatt hours of electricity annually, while sharply cutting carbon emissions. It also dramatically reduces land use, requiring only a fraction of the space needed for comparable land-based facilities. As time is going by, I'm going to jump to the very last two. Building underwater is challenging in challenging conditions, including strong waves and heavy sediments, require engineers to develop new integrated offshore construction and precision installation technologies. The entire project was completed in just 6 months. Following the successful commercialization of the integration of offshore wind power and submarine computing power in Shanghai, developers decided to expand underwater data centers deployments in the future. I didn't got nothing because I didn't properly read. Haha.